I
Oh,
Yeah, I just started recording. So probably I'll send this after this call. So you can download from the link.
okay, fine. I think 2 weeks back we only created an item, correct? And after that, we we didn't
Mm.
really get into procurement setup.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
We can start with the procurement based
mm,
configurations.
okay, fine, fine. Arun, this time is okay for you even tomorrow, 2:30
Yeah,
to.
yeah. Yeah. Yes. Tomorrow is also fine. So probably you can connect tomorrow same time.
Okay, fine. If you want any changes, let me
Sure,
know.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Sure, fine, fine. Okay. So, but this one you're clear, right? The item,
Yeah,
the base.
item is time clear.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Yeah, we saw, I remember that we saw item and
Mhm.
then we saw the basic structure and all those
Correct,
things.
correct.
So
Yes.
you're fine with those,
Yeah,
right?
I'm clear with it. Yes.
Okay. So probably we'll proceed with our configurations.
Mm.
Okay. So item would be the first prerequisites for us. And I guess we also saw about the functional area catalog, the categories, and then we assigned it to the items. Okay, so that is this configurations.
Mhm.
So this is also fine, right?
Uh,
And
yeah, correct. You created
yeah,
and then how it is mapped under. Yeah,
yeah,
fine. Yeah.
correct, correct, yeah,
Mhm.
correct. Okay. So next to that, so we have something called procurement agent. So
Mhm.
these are the base configurations that we will do. So meaning that if I want to create purchase orders or probably the reservation in the system, so I will need someone called procurement agent. So in EBS term, it is buyer. So it's just a term change, but it works similar to the buyer. Okay.
Okay, okay.
So now why do we need buyer is that our probably if we look at the actual business process instead of looking at the system or the application. So there will be a person who places the order and
Order.
there will be a manager who approves the request or
Correct.
the purchase order that will be created by this buyer.
Right.
Okay, so
Mhm.
then it moves to the other department because this request might have been created inside procurement or it could be from other departments as well.
Mhm. Mhm.
So now after this approval, so there will be certain requirements which I have seen. It should go across the departments. It's not only within the purchasing department. Okay,
Mhm.
so now to start with, the buyer is the person who will basically create the purchase order in the system. So there are two transactions that we will look at. So
Mhm.
one is purchase order and the other is requisition. So requisition is an internal document.
Mhm.
So this will not travel across the organization. So
Correct.
always it will be an request that will be raised. So whoever has the access to the system or the application,
Mhm.
so that particular person can create the request and send it to the PO team. So PO team
Okay.
will basically have this as a base and
Mhm.
create the purchase order. So probably they can create one requisition against one purchase order, or probably
Mhm.
they can have multiple also. So
Okay.
this is the usual business process. So for
Okay.
this will be the first configuration. So now, if we talk about the procurement agent, so this is nothing but the access that we are giving to a particular user or particular employee. So
Mm-hmm.
now, how employee can be created? So employee can be created through HCM. So if we
Mm-hmm.
don't have HCM, so then probably we should create manage users, and then we will associate this user with the procurement agent.
Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm.
So probably I'll just see if we have this created. If not, probably
Yeah.
we'll
Mm.
try to
Okay. Mm-hmm.
associate.
Okay. Fine.
Which options we don't have. We don't know exactly whether the HCM configurations are there in the system. So that's why we are creating it manually.
Manually. Okay.
Yeah, else this entry will be created automatically from the payroll system.
It's like automatic, not from SCM user. Like it will be done when setting
Yeah,
up the system. Correct.
yeah,
HCM
correct.
people.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
HCM.
Yageshwaran.m.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
So this will have certain impact, especially when we don't have the HCM module implemented. So if we have HCM module implemented, we do not have any issue there. So their HCM module will have capability of tracking the date ranges. So they will track the dates. But here, without HCM, what will happen is that so you will basically get issue and approval.
Okay.
Meaning, if subordinate I'm creating, let's say with the start date as 3/5,
Mm-hmm.
so I will not be able to create supervisor before this date because
Okay.
this system understands this higher date as same date as uh, the subordinate or the supervisor. So system
Okay.
will not basically
Allow you.
understand,
Mm.
yeah, this is supervisor or this is subordinate. So this is one thing that we have.
For that, you will
So
give previous date. Is that the
y-
solution?
yeah, we will give the common date. So we
Common.
will not give the actual date. So instead we will give the common date because
Common
this
date
is
means
common date, meaning let's say I am going live on probably 10th or 31st of May. So in that case, I can give this as 30th April 2025.
something before. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, kind of an cutoff date we can say. So on the date,
Okay.
we will
Okay.
create the user. So all
Mm.
users will have the same date.
Same date. Okay. So that everyone is aligned. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
correct. Correct.
For today, 3 5 is okay. Correct. There's no problem. The
Uh,
date.
uh, yeah, that should be fine. So we are just testing it out.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I am just saying 2024. I mean, if we want to give the backdated, so that we can give, so that is
Okay.
not an issue.
Okay. Got it.
But
Got
it should be aligned with the other user
it. Right. Right. Right.
data.
Okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
so here we will have other types as well. So I'm just selecting this as employee. And I think
Uh,
Kia is
try here. Mm,
okay. It is here.
Uh, I don't. No, I don't remember which one.
Okay, no, it's okay.
1 minute. I will check if I have any.
Yeah, I probably I guess.
I think Kia underscore LE underscore one. That is what I
Okay.
noted here.
Okay. Yeah, I think this is clear.
Then yeah,
Yeah.
view. Yeah.
So let me just go and close. Clearer relationship or assignment.
Last time we stopped with this error, right? Right. Yeah.
Okay. You can put this one, not this.
Second one.
But we don't have payroll configuration for this unit, right? Or we have something partially created. Any idea?
Payroll. I don't think we created. Uh,
Okay.
we did not go deep into the finance. We created chart of accounts. I mean, Arvind, who the previous trainer,
Okay.
he created those things. But
Okay.
payroll, we did not go.
Okay.
Or for time being,
Yeah.
can we choose some other, what is it, some other entity?
Okay.
No, no, I'm
Okay.
asking, will that work? Will that work?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
That's it, right. Okay. Let me. Okay. For now, let me take this one.
hmm.
But is it fine to reset the password because we'll have to log in as this user to create the transaction?
Oh. Then I don't have that. Account. So is this a big issue? Like we cannot find, I mean, solve this issue or how? Uh,
We can check that, but it is since it is related to HCM thing, so
okay,
I'll have to look into one or more configurations.
okay,
That's okay. Because procurement, I know the root cause, but since it is relating to element, even the HCM, if it is at the high level, we can directly say that this is the issue and we can fix it. But it's
okay,
saying something related to this element.
okay.
Elements are something like the basic fee and the other things. So I don't know what is
Okay.
missed there. So let's see. So,
Any alternative we have? Oh,
yeah, that's short. What we will do is that so I'll cover the remaining
okay.
configuration.
Mhm.
Okay, so anyway, configurations we have these many, and also we have the approvals and the other things.
One
So
minute.
we'll
What are
come.
the configurations? Like you get into the procurement foundations, one, two, three, all these
Yeah,
three
this
configurations.
one.
Okay,
So under this, so we have this business functions one thing,
okay, okay,
and then we also have certain approvals and the TAD rules, all those things. So TAD rules are basically the accounting configuration, but we will do it as an procurement consultant. So this also
okay,
we'll have to cover. So
okay,
probably I'll cover these things today, and
okay,
I'll look at this issue probably after our session, and we
okay,
can
okay. No
see that
problem.
tomorrow.
Okay, okay, sure. Mm.
Okay. Yeah. So the next thing is payment terms. So payment terms, it is common or it is you can understand it better. But I'll just explain what it is.
Mhm.
So basically, this defines uh, how my purchase order is invoiced, or probably let's say the invoice is created, and if I want to understand how this will be paid or when this particular invoice will be on due. So those details I can configure here. So let's say I am creating invoice on 1st April.
Mhm.
So I wanted to give discount, let's say 10% if I am paying on 7th April. So which I can do it here. And also if I want to set the payment month on month on a particular date, so I can
Mhm.
give a fixed date for this payment term. And I can associate this payment term with the supplier. So
Oh,
similarly, there are a lot of things that we can cover. Even so, let's say I wanted to have the fixed date as 10th of April. So if it is paid on 7th of April, I wanted to give probably 10% discount. But then if I am not paying to the supplier even after 10th of April, so I
mhm.
don't want to give an option to pay, let's say 12th or 15th of April. So instead, I wanted to pay on next Friday. So
Mhm.
for that, like, what I can do is that I can give the date. So here, if you see, so this is the cutoff date. So this cutoff date determines when I wanted to pay, and day of the month is nothing but 10 because 10 is our
Oh,
cutoff date,
okay.
and I can say the month ahead. So if I say 0, which means that if I want to make the payment on April month, so probably this will fall under May month. If
Oh,
I
no.
give it as
Okay.
one, which means that this May month will be skipped and the payment will be on June, in the
Okay.
month of June.
Okay. Okay.
So
Okay.
that,
Okay.
yeah,
So this
yeah.
is mandatory. Like,
No,
not every customers we give discounts, right?
yeah, yeah. This is specific to the supplier, so
Okay.
this is not mandatory.
Mandatory.
So because there are predefined payment terms that will be there in the system. So if you see here, we have the net 30 and then
Oh,
immediate and then 2 by 10. All those things will be there by default. So we can use this. So
okay.
all we have to
Mm.
do is that just open this and add the reference data set which we are using. So if we are using common, that should be fine. We don't need to do anything about the payment terms
Okay.
configuration. But
Okay.
if we
Okay.
have specific to the business unit, let's
Mm-hmm.
say I have 4 business unit and for each I have separate reference data set, then I'll have to associate all 4 here.
Okay. Okay.
So that is this configuration. And discounts, if I want to probably give it at multiple durations, that's also I can do it.
Okay.
Till third discount, I can make it. So
Okay.
which means that 7 days I wanted to give 10%,
Hmm.
and probably 10 days or 12 days I want to give 5%, and 30
Hmm.
days I want to give 3%, which I
Percent.
can
Okay.
give it.
Arun, this discount is clear. A first discount you give, the days you give, the day of month you give. Similarly, it's
Yeah,
in the installments there. I see some fixed date. See, for example, if I give like today's date and then I give day of month as 10, which means how will they then calculate fixed date means like today's date, and if order is placed tomorrow, which
yeah,
is post yesterday, then like I don't know
yeah.
how to ask that.
Yeah, so basically system will first look for the cutoff date. So if
Date.
cutoff day is not there, probably system will look at this option. So either I can give as a fixed date. If I have
Mhm.
not given the fixed date also, so which means that next step is system will look for the
Date.
day of the month.
Date of month. Okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
day of the month.
Okay.
So if there is, let's say 15, so which means that this invoice will be due only on 15th. So
Okay.
before that, it will not be on due. So
Okay.
whatever the invoices are not on due, we will not be able to make the payment. So this is the sequence that system will work. So it's not
Mm-hmm.
that we'll give all the options. So based on the requirement, we will give whether we want to give the
Okay.
cutoff date, a day of the month, or the fixed date.
Okay. Okay. And this is
Alternate,
also
yeah,
related to accounting, right? Like
yeah.
accounts consultant do or the SCM consultant work.
No, this usually it will be done by payable consultant. But then there are certain projects that I have working where the business has asked us to work, and team also pushed us to do it. So it's partially certain projects by finance
Both.
consultants and
Okay.
certain by procurement. Basically.
Arun, one basic question. Okay, see, this
Yeah,
I understand now. It depends on how a company works. So it
right,
might be HCM or SCM. But
right.
since you've already worked on projects, you created manually or you added, like you said, there are some default like immediate or 20, 30 something.
Yeah,
You,
I have created it actually. We have not used it
everything.
because business will have lot of requirements. So
Okay,
it's not because here if you see you will have the immediate, so immediate probably we can use it. So that we have used it. Those are like one or two cases, but
okay.
still we will have to create
Create.
more in
Okay,
terms of payment terms because there are
okay.
a lot of suppliers. So each supplier will have different terms uh, in order to collect the payment from us. So we will have to
Oh,
create.
okay. For each and every supplier or how
Yeah,
you want to work, you have to create payment terms.
uh,
Okay,
yeah,
okay,
correct,
okay,
correct,
okay. Got it.
correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So we will have to create it basically.
Manually, fine, Arun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So we will create it here and then we will associate this with the supply.
supplier. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So that is about the payment
Yeah, that is
terms.
okay. Mm-hmm. So here we are not creating, we'll go with existing, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah,
correct.
okay.
We
Mm-hmm.
will go with the existing one, immediate. We will have the immediate payment terms. We will go with that.
Okay.
Okay. And then we have the procurement. business functions and that okay, first I'll go with requisition business function.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the org that we'll be using. So probably I'll take for now inventory one. Okay. And these are the certain options that we can default certain options and certain things that we can restrict user not to do. For example, if I don't want user to override the existing approvals, I wanted to follow only the existing one, even if there is any emergency, I wanted to follow this route. So probably I can have these kind of restrictions here. So for instance, if you see here, so I have line type as goods. So if I say it's goods, of course I can override at the transaction level. So let's say this is service item, kind of on consulting charges. So for this, I wanted to raise and request, and based on the purchase order, I want to release the payment. So in that case, I'll select the services as the line type, but to default at the purchase order, I can select here. So by default, we
Yeah.
will have
Okay.
this option, but probably in our case, it is mostly service, or probably 95% it is service. So we can select this as the service.
Okay. Which means
Okay.
here, whatever we give here will be that
Default.
default, and then we
Correct.
still can be change it at the transaction
Correct.
level. Okay.
Correct. Correct. Okay. And then we have certain options to group the requisitions. Because if you see, so there are two cases. So one is that one-to-one PO, and the other one is grouping or consolidating the purchase orders into multiple, multiple requisitions will be created as one purchase order. So in that case, so if I want to group requisition by item, so probably I can do it. Or if this buyer is creating, let's say, 10 requisitions, so how do I want to basically group this purchase order or this acquisition? So that is this item. So by default, we are setting as item level, but then if I want to give it at buyer level or the supplier level or the location, so we can define it. So
Okay.
this
Okay.
again based on the requirement. So how we wanted to group this requisition.
Where
So
does this
this
group comes? For example, if a buyer, if we are doing it based on buyer, like the same user Yagesh, and if we create
yeah
10 requisition, all the
yeah.
10 will be combined as one PO.
I mean, this is for the requisitions. The PO, it is just for understanding, I'm saying. So
Okay.
if I want to combine by item or combine by buyer, we can do that. But this is for the requisition. So let's say I have 100 requisitions to be imported.
Raised.
So now if I want to create the requisition in the system, so whether I wanted to combine the same item. So let's say
Oh,
I
okay.
have
Okay.
20 items. So now
Mm-hmm.
instead of creating 10 requisitions saying that this is the item,
Okay.
and yeah, so that grouping rule is what we are
Okay.
setting
So
here.
you'll group all those 20 items as a one single requisition. Okay. Got
Correct,
it.
correct. Correct. Okay. So for now, I'm leaving this as
Mm-hmm.
item only.
Item. Okay.
Okay. Right. And then whether we are allowing one-time addresses, all those things we can do. So similarly, so we will have option to add the suppliers. So similarly, if I want to have one-time address, we can set it here. Or if we, so this one-time addresses, this is kind of a display option, but then if we want to enable it, we can do it. So this is similar to the one-time supplies where we will have certain suppliers for emergency we will purchase. So
Oh,
similarly,
okay.
if
Okay.
we want to use one time, we can do that.
Okay.
Okay. And then if there is any changes that is made to the active requisition, so whether we wanted to request for the re-approval or not. So if we want to monitor the changes that is being done to the requisition, so we can enable this. because whatever the changes that is made, that
Mm-hmm.
needs to be approved basically. So for now, I'm not enabling, but in real time, we will enable this checkbox and route it to the approval.
Okay. So for now, if there are any changes is required, we have to cancel or reject that requisition and come
So
back to it. Okay.
come back and create it. Okay. And then creating the orders immediately after requisition import. So once the requisition is imported, so whether we wanted to create the purchase order, so that is this option. Or manually we wanted to go and then create it. So that is this option. So I'm just setting this as create order immediately. Okay.
Okay.
And then this is again related to the modifications or the change request. So if I want to probably modify the buyer, so whether this approval is needed or not. So that is this
Okay.
option.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And this is approver override. So instead of approver A, if I change it to B, so that is this option.
So we have an option to change who needs to be the approver.
Yeah, yeah. Before we submit the request, so system will generate our pick the approver based on the configurations that we have uh, done in the system. But then if I want to change the default approval for some reason, let's say this manager is not available for next
Okay.
7 days,
Okay.
but
Mm-hmm.
this needs to be approved immediately. So whether uh, system needs to allow this override option. So that is this
Okay.
option.
Okay. But Arun, see, we did not do any approval setup for whatever setups you are expecting. We only did the basic chart of accounts, and then for inventory we did some setups. That's all. Okay. Even the roles, nothing we have done for procurement.
Yeah, I understood. So these
Oh,
are the basic things that we are talking about. So
okay.
approvals we will talk about after this one.
Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm.
So we have that option. So we'll see for both requisition and the
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
procurement and the purchase order.
Okay. Fine.
Yeah. Yeah. So that is this option, and this is about enabling the supply availability. So this is basically for the uh, transfers between entities. So let's say Reliance is one company.
Mm-hmm.
So inside this we have Hyderabad office and we have Bangalore office. So if
Oh,
we want to transfer between these entities, so whether we wanted to show the supply availability and all those details, so
okay.
that is
Okay.
this option.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And apart from that, we can set few DFF or the descriptive flex field information at
Mm-hmm.
the requisition because there will be certain information that we will capture. So one is project information that we have a separate field for that that will be linked with the project module. But
Mm-hmm.
then addition to that, if I want to probably capture, let's say, who is the project manager and let's say the product specific information, let's say the
Mm-hmm.
brand of this particular product.
Correct.
So brand of this product, even that I can capture at the chart of accounts level, but then specifically at the requisition, if I want to create it and I want to be included for the approval, so that I can enable it here. Okay.
Where? That's
Here, either at the header level
yeah.
or at the line level or at the distribution level. We can associate that particular DFF at
Mhm.
any level, header, line, or distribution.
These the page that you're referring here, all these are fixed. If you want to change or add any fields, is that possible? Like apart from this descriptive flex fields, like in the
No,
above you have this create orders
yeah.
immediately, approval required. Is that possible to develop or create a new checkbox?
Yeah, we can develop it, but that will become altogether a new stream develop. But this is Oracle's framework. So
Mm-hmm.
Oracle will not allow us to change this one. The reason being behind every checkbox and every field that we are selecting, so there will be validations and there will be prerequisites that Oracle
Right.
will have.
Mm-hmm.
But then if we want to bring our own validation, what we can do with it, we can take this as a sample
Mm-hmm.
and whatever the validations that we want to add, so we can add it as a separate string, but not inside this string.
Oh, not inside the same screen.
Yeah,
So even if
yeah.
okay, have you done anything like that in your projects, like, or you go only with the default instance what we give from Oracle?
No, we created one for LOC, letter of credit. So
Okay,
for that, we created a separate screen because finance did not have option to capture the entire process.
okay,
So we were asked to create this option, and also another one I did for the bank guarantee. So I can say for
okay.
two we created it. So
Mm,
we will have three screens. So one is the dashboard, and the other one is for the request, and the
okay,
other one is for the transaction. So we created separate screen there, and based on that,
okay.
we will add the validation. So validations, of course, we will get from the business, and based on that, we will develop the screen.
Mm-hmm.
But for
Which
the
means
configurations,
the,
I have not.
that
Yeah.
okay. Options is available, but not on the
Yes.
same
Yes.
screen. We might go
Yes.
open a new screen. Okay,
Yes. Yes.
okay.
And at the configuration level, I have not seen any requirement to customize the
Okay,
screen.
okay,
So it's
okay.
at the transaction level. I have
Right,
two
right,
insight
right, right.
about it.
Makes sense,
Yeah.
makes sense. Correct. Here we might not require something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But on the, as you said, the transaction screen, we can change, isn't
Yes.
it?
Yes. We can do. We can do very well.
Okay, fine.
So
I
we will
got
have
it.
even the upper layer we can store the data, and if we want to pull the data and then push it back to this application, so again that we can do with
Sorry, Arun. I did not
it.
understand what you.
Yeah. So let's say I don't want to customize the screen completely.
Mm-hmm,
Let's assume this is my transaction screen or the
mm-hmm,
requisition screen.
mm-hmm,
So before I request here in Oracle, or let's assume that I have third-party application where I do the request for the items,
mm-hmm,
and that request needs to be created here as the requisitions,
mm-hmm,
and whatever the information I give here, the
mm-hmm.
add-on informations. So that needs to be stored as an DFF. So what I can do is that I can pull the
Oh,
information from there, and I can store this information, and the relevant informations I can push it to the screen, the requisition screen,
okay,
and I can show this for the reporting. So that
okay,
is also possible. That's also we can do.
okay. So that okay. So what you meant is like those will handled by the finance, correct? That chart
Yeah,
accounts, whoever
yeah,
does this flex fields.
correct, correct.
Okay, okay. Okay, fine. I
Yeah,
understand. Actually, I wanted to ask if it's possible at the transaction level. Now I understand it is
yeah,
possible. Okay,
yes, yes, it is possible.
okay, Arun, you can go ahead.
Okay. Yes. So these are the certain defaults that we can set. So default procurement business unit. So
Mm,
here, if you see this PRBU, since we selected at as PRBU, so it defaults here. And then we have the price change tolerance percentage. So this where we will use is that. So let's say I am setting this price at the inventory or the item level. I'm just setting the list price as, let's say, $1,000.
mhm.
So now I wanted to change this amount. So I can change at the transaction level also, but there will be certain controls whether this is matching
Oh,
exactly with the
okay,
price. So
got
if
it.
I can allow changes to the price, so probably I can set the limit
Currency.
as, yeah, the amount
Yeah.
or the percentage. So that is this option.
So if you
And
don't give, then there is no problem. If you give, then
yeah,
that amount should not go beyond that. Okay.
yeah, yeah, correct. Okay. And then the stick to location. So usually it is at the inventory level. So if we want to set stick to level here, so which will default there. And if I want to override at the requisition or the purchase order, so that is also
We can
possible.
still do it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And if I want to probably cancel the unfilled order, so optionally I can just select
Mm-hmm. Okay.
always or never. I don't want to allow. So these are the options.
Which means the requisition not approved. Those things can
Correct.
be cancelled. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Unfilled orders basically.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. And if there is a complex enterprise structure wherein we have multiple legal entities associated with this one business unit, And
Mm-hmm.
if any such cases that tagging of multiple legal entities on the orders, because this will be taken to the finance based on the business unit, because finance will not understand the other facets. It is always at the business unit level. So now, if I want to pass this information to finance, so I will have to specify particularly this is my business unit. So now, if there is a clash as which legal entity reports those expenses,
Mm-hmm.
or probably I don't have the exact legal entity name or the mapping
Mm-hmm.
between the legal entity and the business unit. So what's its system to? So we are saying it should error out. So
Okay.
accordingly, user can take action if this is related to the legal entity one or two. So user can select it manually, and then he or she can basically create the requisition or submit it for the approval.
Okay. 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 Fine.
Okay. Okay. And then these are the certain UAM or the unit of method conversions that we can set it up. Okay. So UAM for now, I'm selecting the default one that we have, each and piece, bots, all those things we have. So I'm not creating anything new.
Okay.
So I'm just leaving this option also blank. Okay, so once this is done, we can close
Okay.
this, save and close. The second thing that we have is procurement business functions. So similarly, let me
Yeah. Yeah.
select here. Yeah. Okay, so okay.
For requisition, we did only for okay. Okay. Correct. Correct. Yeah. No. No.
Yeah.
Like one inventory. Is that fine? Or again, I have to go create for the inventory too.
Usually for one business unit, we will tag one inventory unit. But if
Okay.
we have two or more than two, so
Uh-huh.
probably this we can handle it at the transaction level.
Transaction.
Because the
Okay. Okay. Got
yeah,
it. Okay.
yeah, because the reason being, so the transaction that we are creating or the purchase order that we are creating, so this will not be created at the inventory R level. So instead, this will be created at the business unit level.
Inventory. Okay.
So that is why we have option to tag one inventory at the business unit. So probably if this is not linked, so we
Then we
can
can change it.
override.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the
Okay.
question.
Okay. Got it.
So, yeah. So the payment terms that we can associate here. So for now, I'm selecting the default one. Okay, I think we did not associate.
That's not mandatory, right? The star mark is
Yeah,
not.
yeah, yeah, not mandatory. So I'm just checking why we are not getting it. So I think probably the reference data set is not associated. I'll just like once this. Okay.
There is some immediate step. Yeah.
Yeah.
Above.
Yeah. Are you created?
No, no, I did not create.
Oh, okay, okay. Oh, okay. Fine. I will just take this one. So this is default one. So I'm just taking. Okay. So
Oh,
just
the reason that immediate did
yeah,
not come there.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Correct.
Okay. You are working as a finance consultant or you completely handle everything?
I started as a finance consultant, and then I started for one project. I moved to procurement,
Oh,
and
nice.
then I had to handle the inventory and the order management also. So I
Oh,
had
you're
mixed
into
up.
everything.
Yeah, it's kind of a mixed up experience.
Yeah,
So
nice,
it's both SCM and finance, I can say.
nice.
But I
Okay,
started from finance background basically.
that's okay. No, the first time when I inquired to Suresh and I asked for your name only, like I'm okay
Okay,
with
okay,
Arun because I saw your video in YouTube, and then
okay,
he said
okay.
Arun is finance consultant, so I'll give you supply chain consultant.
Yeah. Yeah. So now I'm working in finance only, but I have experience in this one also. SCM.
Hello.
Okay. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. Now fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I'm linked this payment terms and shipping method and freight terms, all those details we can select it at the
Okay.
transaction level also. So this we will not use it much. So unless we have the reporting requirements, we don't want to select it everything. So probably this we can do it. The reason why I selected the payment terms is that because the invoice will be created based on the payment terms that we associate at the purchase order. Okay. So if I am not giving here, so every time I'll have to select it there. But these informations, if you see, so these are not the key factors to create any transaction in the system. So that's why I'm leaving these
Okay.
options. But this also, if we want to probably default it, we can set it here.
Okay. Okay.
Whether we wanted
Mhm.
to have the mode as or probably we wanted to have a shipping terms. So these details we can attach it
Okay. Mhm.
here. Okay. And buyer default buyer we can associate here, but the reason being why we are not able to see any buyer is that
The
for
user, we
this
did not have that.
for this business unit we don't have anything created. So if we have probably more than one or two also, so that will list down here. So we can select it from the list of them.
No, I thought that that agent or the user is not created. That is
Yeah,
the reason.
yeah. That
Ah,
did
okay.
not get created, right? So that's why it's
Right.
not listing
Yeah.
down here.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, and then the inventory part, I think it is yeah one item. This is the one we selected there.
Yeah. Yeah. One. Yeah.
Okay, so line type, I'm just setting this as goods and currency.
Wait. During the item creation, I don't know what currency we gave.
Okay, so
Is it
this would
paid
be
to
okay.
something?
So this would be at the ledger level. So probably you can check that. INR.
INR. Okay. No. Now we are giving INR here, and in for example, in the item we choose currency. Correct. There, if
Yeah,
we give USD, that's okay.
yeah. That should be fine. That shouldn't be a problem. So basically, system will see that item as the foreign currency transaction,
Oh,
and it will ask for the
and
exchange rates,
okay. Fine.
corporate, and we will need to have some currency conversion rate. So
Okay.
that's all.
Okay.
But
Right.
other than that, we are good with it.
Okay. Okay. Then okay.
Okay. So this also let me add the standard one. The corporate is the standard. This is the one. Okay. And then this is similar to the reservation if we want to set the tolerance for the receipt closure. So probably we can set the limit also. So let's say I have not received it completely, but I wanted to close this purchase order. So whether system will allow or not. So probably I can say, uh, so for now I am not including any percentage, but then if
Mhm.
I say 10%, if I reached or if I have received 90% of the order, so which
It will
means
get
system
closed.
will consider,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, got it.
uh, and then receipt closure point. So if I have received it, I
It'll get
should
closed.
consider this
Okay.
as closed. So
Okay.
probably if I have three-way or four-way, so that would be different. So in case of four-way, I will accept it, and that is when uh, the status of purchase order will be closed. If it is three-way, which means that I wanted to deliver also. So in that case, I'll say deliver. So in our case, we are doing two-way matching, which means that matching with the receipt item. So I'm just saying this as a receipt. So when it says receipt, then the purchase order line will be closed.
Closed. Okay.
Okay. And then this also again the tolerance percentage.
Invoice. Okay.
Yeah. And this is what the match approval level, so which means that two-way or three-way or four-way. So two-way, so this basically refers back to the documents which we are matching at the purchase order, sorry, the invoice.
Invoice. Okay.
Yeah. So when we say two-way, which means that we are matching two documents. One is invoice and the other one is purchase order. The system will not basically consider the receipt that we have created or the receipt quantity. So let's say I am creating purchase order for 100 quantities. So
Mm-hmm.
now I receive only 95 quantities, but supplier has given me invoice for 100 quantities. So
Okay.
here what I will do is that I will match with the purchase order. So
Mm-hmm.
in this case, system will not even understand that I have not received
High
the order
quantities.
completely. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
system will not understand because it is matching between invoice and purchase order. So that is two-way matching. And three-way matching is something that I'll match three documents: purchase order, receipt, and invoice. So
Okay.
all three documents should be in sync, which
For the
means that
order
100,
entry. Mm-hmm.
yeah, all quantities must be received and invoiced for 100 quantities also.
Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And fourth one is for the manufacturing and the other industries. So let's say I am into soap manufacturing. So in this case, if I'm receiving raw material, so let's say I have some chemical component that I'm receiving. So this I will have the QA check and the other team will check this receipt item, and that
Mm-hmm.
is when I will confirm. So I will have to receive, I will have to deliver, and then I'll have to accept it. So that is when my purchase order line will get closed, and I can create the invoice, which means that I'm comparing four documents: the inspection or the QA check, and then the purchase uh, order, and then the invoice, and then the receipt. So these are the documents that we will verify. Okay.
Okay. Let's see. I understand this two-way, three-way, four-way process, but one small
Okay.
doubt. This,
Okay.
the two-way you said it will combine with purchase order and the quantity, right? Uh,
Right.
uh, we have option to change that. It should match this and that instead of that and this, something like that.
Yeah,
Like,
we can change at the purchase order, but if I have approved this purchase order and if I want to probably change it at the invoicing level, I'll not be able to make changes at that point.
I mean, on the first setup we can do like this setup
Yeah,
will
yeah,
be
that
done
we
by
can.
in finance again.
Yes, we can do. We can change.
Okay, okay, got it.
And then these are the certain controls similar to the requisitions. So probably if I want to change the prices on the fulfilled order,
Mm-hmm.
so which we can enable here. But usually we will not
Not happen.
allow to update the fulfilled order because the order might be closed. So we will not
Yeah,
allow it, but as an option we have
we have
because
it.
there are
Okay.
certain business they will ask for it. And then the default promise date from the requested date. So if we enable this checkbox, so probably the request date will be defaulted to the promise date because when we create the purchase order, one of the either field is mandatory, so we can
Oh,
automate
okay.
that.
Mhm.
Okay. And and then these are the certain separate holds. So there are certain holds that we have. So when we talk about holds, that we will not basically do it in procurement module. Ideally, this is done at finance module, the payable module. But as an option, we have this because there are certain constitutions that
Yeah.
procurement and payable module share. So we have mix of things. Even the accounting options. So we have both at the payable module and at the procurement module. But ideally, the accounting options will be done at the payable module. But somehow Oracle has given us both the places. So,
If I
so
still
that
give hold here and we can still hold a purchase order, correct? Without process.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, correct.
Now you have tick mark it, which means this we cannot proceed.
Yeah, we cannot proceed. This will enforce basically.
No, no, I don't understand. We should untick it.
No, no. We should not uncheck it because the supplier hold meaning that if I have supplier created without, let's say, site or the other information, so by default system will take this into supplier hold.
Okay, okay.
Because if I disable this,
Mm-hmm.
so even if I don't have the supplier information, the system
Okay.
will allow
Allowed.
to pick
Okay,
it.
okay, okay.
Uh,
Got
yeah.
it. Mhm.
So, yeah. So ideally, we will enable this checkbox.
Okay, okay, got it.
Yeah, and then this is about auto-generating the orders based on the requisitions or the negotiation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you might be knowing the requisition is different from the negotiation, but probably based on this, you will have the negotiated request lines also. So probably for that, if we want to generate the purchase order as an automatic option, so we can enable this option.
Okay.
Okay.
So just
And
the one tick mark, and if there's any negotiation, then that will create a new order.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. No, no, you can untick it. I just asked you. Okay.
Okay. Okay. And then this is about the bypassing the approvals for these automatically created orders. Okay. So this also I'm not enabling it because we don't want to bypass it. Okay. And these are the certain communications that we can share for the purchase agreement and the purchase order changes. So these are certain RFP are the XML documents which technical team will configure, and they will have certain links at the supplier level. So if we are giving the email address of the supplier, and if we want to communicate these information, so this we can communicate to the supplier also. So that is about these two options. So this is for purchase agreement, and this is for the PO changes.
Okay. So if you don't give, it will not follow that communication.
Yes, sir.
You might give the
Yeah.
manual.
Yes, sir. It will not do. Okay. And then these are certain options related to the sourcing, meaning the negotiation and all those things.
Yeah.
So this will follow the bidding process where multiple suppliers will bid and then we'll award this to a particular supplier and this supplier we will be eligible to fulfill the orders which we are raising. So those are the controls that we will have. Okay. So
With
this is
Oracle, still we have options for bidding. Like we raise one request.
yeah, yes,
That
yes, we
comes
have.
under different process.
No, no, it's same thing, but we can select whether we wanted to create a purchase order from the bidding process or we wanted to create it manually or the requisition. But optionally, we have the bidding option also.
Yeah.
We can create it from the bidding thing also.
Mm-hmm.
From negotiation, we can create, convert the negotiation into the purchase order.
Right.
And these are certain options that I have seen in Fusion, but I have not seen in VBS environment. So probably if you have worked already in EBS and you know about the punches, probably you might know, but I'll explain in terms of cloud how those punch outs work. Okay.
Okay.
So punch out is basically an option that allows to integrate using B2C. So now what is B2C? B2C is kind of an integration tool which enables uh, to communicate with the third party application. So now let's say I wanted to integrate with Amazon or I wanted to integrate with Flipkart. So the Amazon or Flipkart, first of all, should have the capability to integrate with the ERP systems. So now, assuming that Amazon has
Mhm.
apps or the capability to integrate with the ERP systems, Oracle or SAP. So now, in this case, what we will do is that we will set the integration so using B2C. So now, if I give this option to user, so user will have certain categories listed. So this category basically allows user to select from the vendor side. So this is the integration that we can build. So this allows us to basically derive the prices from Amazon and select the items from Amazon. And once we complete our purchase order request, which means that after approval, so this will place an order on Amazon and Amazon will fulfill the order based on the terms and conditions that we
Oh,
placed.
okay.
Okay.
Okay. Right, right,
So
right. I
yeah,
okay.
yeah. So this at high level I'm saying, but there are certain
Yeah,
technical
yeah.
details
Okay.
out there. Yeah, yeah. So that is this option. Consult.
Basically, this is when integration is required with your third party
Yeah,
ERPs.
yeah.
Okay.
Correct,
Mm.
correct. That is when we'll go for this. It's not that all business ask for it, but
Ah,
I have
okay.
certain cases that I have seen. Okay, so
Okay.
okay, okay. Yeah.
So in those
So
cases that you have worked on, you would have selected this. If you have
yeah,
disabled, you don't have this integration still possible.
no, no. This is basic prerequisites. So after
Okay.
this, we have other configurations also.
EDA.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So inside that, so we'll have to set up the
Okay.
B2C. So we will get the client URL and we will have the portal for that. And we
Okay.
also have uh, what do you call the IP address and the port number and then the username, password, all those details. And then we'll connect our system with uh, the
Yes.
e-commerce system, and
Okay.
we'll import the items and then we'll place the orders. So that's the
Yeah.
process.
Okay. Fine.
Okay. Yeah. So that is this option, and this is about auto generate orders on the recognition lines. Okay. So this is agreement based order. So agreement, so probably let's say I'm setting this agreement as 1 lakh dollar for this year. So now if I want to create or request this item, so I will refer this agreement and I'll create this as a request. So based on this request, system will say that yes, this is within the limit, and I wanted to convert this requisition into purchase order. So now this option allows us to
Okay.
auto generate the
Yeah.
orders, the purchase order.
Okay. Okay. But where do you set that limitations? Like,
Limit, no, limitation is nothing but the agreement amount that we are setting. So we
correct,
have,
correct. That one.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that the agreement amount is what I was referring to, limit.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So just, automatically submit for approval.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this also understandable group requisitions. So how do we want to group
Yeah,
the
yeah. Just
requisitions with
like
all
last
this?
time we had. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So these are the options. And then sourcing, if you see, so we have options. So it's the quotation or information or the option we can do that. So ideally, we will get the quotation, and based on the quote, we will uh, award the quotation or the award the contract. And based on the award, we will create the purchase order, and this purchase order will be further converted to the finance
Okay.
invoices, other things. Okay. So these are the different styles that you have. So ideally, here we will not have much. things to be changed, but since it is test environment, we are having lot of options. But
Mm-hmm.
ideally, we will not change it. What I have seen, it is the RFQ and the standard negotiations is
Negotiation.
what I have
Okay.
seen. Okay.
Mm.
So probably the template will change, but again, the template, we will not do anything here because these are basically the default options that we are
Right,
setting up.
right, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, okay. And these are the certain scores that we can set it up. And then the purchase document, of course, it will be creating Oracle Fusion. Okay. So probably if we are creating here and sending to other application, let's say SAP. So in that case, probably we will have this as export using the web services. So
Yeah.
when this is submitted, so this will invoke a service. So this service will pass the information to the SAP application and SAP will consume it. But ideally, it is Oracle Fusion purchasing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then initiate approval and automatically add new supplier items to the item relationship. So these are the certain optional items that we can set it up. Okay. And these are the agreement lines. So expired and the matching lines, all those options.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. And these also certain controls enable negotiation approval, award approval. Okay. So those are the options that we have. And also we have option to weigh in the requirement. Weigh in the requirement meaning if I want to, so if I have probably five requirements, so I wanted to probably give weightage of five to requirement two and probably four to requirement three. So I can do this weightage. So for that, I'll have to enable this option, enable weights and requirements.
Okay.
Okay. And this is also similar to that. So the scoring criteria to the supplies. So supply specific scoring criteria, which we can display at the negotiation scale.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And these are the controls. Probably if I want to enforce it, or if I want to display this uh, price, all those information, price or the rank, so which I can enable it here.
One more, the rank indicator, what is that? One, two, three, it is marked. Left side, left side. Yeah.
Rank indicator meaning that if I have probably three or four suppliers, so
Oh.
now this, so supplier one might say, so I might request for 100 rupees.
Mm-hmm.
So supplier one might say I can give for 110 rupees. That is the maximum amount that I can agree upon. And supplier two might say I can give it for 106 or 108. And supplier three might say I can give it for 102. So this will basically rank saying one should be 102 and two should be
Okay,
106.
okay. Mm-hmm.
Sessionally, it's kind of an who is the best supplier which system can opt for.
Okay.
It will give certain statistics that we will say so much of amount in this order if we select supplier A, B. So that is this indicator.
Okay.
Okay.
So these are all basic setups that Oracle by
Yes,
default given. We are not changing
yes, yes.
anything. Okay. Unless
Yeah,
we require.
yeah, yeah. Correct. Unless we need change, so these are the basic considerations.
Okay.
So, okay. So the next configuration release amount on the education. Okay. I don't have purchase order. Okay. So these are the base configurations that we will have to do. So before we uh, start the other configurations. Okay. So after this, we have the approval. So probably I'll complete the approval and then I'll come to this tab and the rule-based configuration. Okay.
Okay.
So the first thing here is that so in Fusion we have other approvals also
Mm-hmm.
because the difference if you see between EBS and Fusion is that in EBS whatever the approval that we are talking about so that will be using AMU. But here it is not that we have one place where we have all the approvals. So we have something called BPM, Business Process Management.
Mhm.
So which will help to configure approval for other modules such as the finance module, especially the payables or fixed asset module or the general ledger module, all those options. But for acquisition and the purchase order, so this is the place where specifically we will
Oh,
define
okay.
the
The approvals.
approvals.
Okay. Mhm.
Okay. So I'll just say manage the acquisition approvals and audit. Okay, so now we have one rule that is defined. So probably I'll define two rules. So one for probably let's say auto approval.
Already come to the screen? Sorry, I there are a lot of options. Like which one you choose?
This is this one, the header states. Parallel approval is what we are using.
Which one? The header states
Yeah,
responding means.
yeah. We have different options. So we have serial and we have parallel. And if we want to use one user as the approval, that we can do. And also, if we want to use the static approval with approval group, so that
Mhm.
also we can do it. So
Mhm.
these are the different options that we have.
Okay.
But we are using the parallel approval in this case. So parallel approval meaning that this approval request will be sent to both the parties. So whoever approves it, so this purchase order will be considered as approved. So that is
Okay.
the
In the
process.
second one was also parallel. Can we like anything we can choose in parallel, correct? That is what you mean?
It depends actually. So if you see here, so this is based on the consensus, but this is basically first responded bench. So let's say you have four approvers.
Okay.
So
Okay.
if I approve it, this transaction is considered as approved, but
Yeah.
this is
Mm.
based on the consensus. So each will differ.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Mhm.
Yeah. So for each, you will have the for information, and you will have first responder, and you will have consensus. If you see here, so here also you will have for the pre-approval also you will have the consensus and the first approval. So similarly, if you come down, so here also post-approval, you will have both the options.
Okay. Okay.
So only for the serial, you will not have these options, the consensus and the first responder wins.
Wait, now I lost. Which one did you choose now? The
This one,
pre-approval or
no, the approval,
approval?
the header first
Ah,
responder
header.
wins.
Okay, 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 fine. Yeah, yeah. Mm.
Okay. Yeah. So just say edit. And now if I add this option, let's say auto approve. So this I'm not giving complex rules, but I'll just explain as the next thing. So what are the different requirements that I have seen?
Okay.
So because there will be a lot of uh, I think this is acquisition approvals. Yes, I think.
Kia,
Okay.
Kia one.
Except for business unit, it's not probably I'll take the buyer based listen. It is mm,
Requisition
yeah.
name. Okay.
This is right? Yeah,
Yeah, Kia
underscore.
BU, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'll add the action. So this I'll set this as automatic. So which means automatically. So this will be approved if okay, RL can add
Oh,
one
here
more
only we
condition.
set it. If I
Yeah,
want to choose someone to approve, then just can you show me? Like, let's go with
yeah,
automatic, but yeah.
yeah. So I'll just add the buyer name alone and then
Arun, I think I lost you. Hello?
can you hear me now?
Yeah, your voice was not clear that time. Mhm. No.
Yeah, I was saying. So
Mhm.
we have this option called automatic. So
Okay.
this basically acts as the auto approval route.
Right, that is
But if we
right.
want to give it to a separate the
Mhm.
specific user,
Right, right.
so
Yeah.
we will say require. The action type could be require. And
Oh,
if we
okay.
want to, yeah, if we want to probably have a static approval, so we can say approval group. Or if I don't want to use the static approval group, so probably we can go for the supervisory approval. So which will basically look for the supervisor or the manager. So if A is submitting, so A is tagged to the manager B. So this will look for manager B, and this
Mhm.
request will be sent to Mr. B. So
Right,
based on this, you can define it whether we wanted to have it as a static or the dynamic. So
right.
if
Okay.
we so this but this is where we will
The
define to
approval.
whom this needs to be sent.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. Oh, now the name is not there.
Yeah, I'll just do the buyer name.
So we can give two actions then for one
Yeah,
case
we can give two conditions. I mean,
two conditions.
we can give any number of conditions. We can have
Which
multiple.
will then be prioritized? Like for example, now you have given automatic as well as you are adding a user.
No, this is basically conditions. So I just explain. So,
Yeah.
okay,
Oh, no, you can
here,
proceed and explain. No problem. Do not
yeah,
cancel.
yeah, I'll just complete this and so I'll just give some value here. So here in this section, if you see, so you will see three. So one is the naming convention that we will give, the rule name, priority, all those options. And second part is condition. And third part is action. So action is where we are determining whether this should go to the supervisory or look for the manager or the approval group or the individual user should be approved or automatically system should approve. So this is this option. So this will be one. So if I'm saying this is my condition and this will be the action that I can select. So here I will not be able to add multiple. So where I can add
Uh,
multiple, yeah. So
conditions
this,
you can add. Okay.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. So this you can add any number. So uh, we should only make sure that this condition is met. Because if this is not met, basically the approval engine will, or the approval flow will end in error.
If
So
I
that is
understand correctly, if Akhilesh creates a requisition, it will
correct.
automatically be approved. If it's a Kia business unit, if
Correct. Correct.
Arun
Akhilesh,
creates, it will not be approved.
yes, yes.
Okay.
System will say that no approval found.
Okay. For Kia. Correct. For
Yeah,
Kia business
correct.
unit. Okay.
Correct. It's kind of a combination. So in
Mm,
Kia business unit, if Akhilesh is creating a purchase order, then system will
okay.
approve.
Okay, I
Automatically system will
understand.
approve.
Automatic approve. Okay. Right. Okay.
So this two and That's why.
In general, like live business also, you will have these kind of conditions against each buyer, or it will be like common.
No, it will not be by each buyer. So ideally, it will be at the business unit because there will be one person for every branch. So
Okay,
this
okay,
person will basically handle the purchasing process.
right, right.
So it will be
Business
at the
unit
business
level.
unit.
Got it.
Optionally, we can have it as the buyer level also
Okay,
because there are certain scenarios that they will have multiple buyers also. So that's the
right,
case.
correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so what are the options that we have? So if we give the approval required, so if you see here, approval route. So first thing is approval
Uh,
group. So this we can create it from the BPM worklist. So probably after this, I'll show where we
okay.
can create the approval group.
Good. Okay.
So apart from this, if we want to use the supervisory hierarchy, so which we can use, or we can say single approver. So which means that system will look for this particular person
Okay.
and it will send to that particular person automatically.
Good.
So this is one option.
Mhm.
And if we have probably the HCM model implemented, so we can use the position hierarchy also.
Yeah.
So if position, let's say accounting manager or the procurement manager is at the level of 4 and the procurement head at the level of 5. So now if I want to route this through this hierarchy, so which I can make use of HCM component, the position hierarchy, and I can associate here. So based on that, basically system will route
Okay.
the approval rules.
Not on person, but on hierarchy.
Yeah,
Okay.
correct. So this
This is.
both job and positions works at HCM level, but
Mm.
other things works at R level. Approval group, single approval, or the supervisory hierarchy.
Arun, this is fine, but tomorrow when we create an requisition, like it
Okay.
should be automatic. Like, can you also show one with like one user associate,
Yeah, yeah. Yes, sir.
where the approval is?
Yes, yes. Yeah. We will have two users created.
Okay.
So probably between that, I'll check this issue, what is this issue.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll have two users created
Mhm.
and one with automatic and the other one with
Right, right.
the approval group or the hierarchy we can define. So
Okay.
based on that, we can see how system is working for both the
Okay.
options.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
So now it is automatic. Okay.
Yeah. Now I'm just setting this as automatic. So this is for the requisition, but it doesn't change or change much in terms of PO approval and this thing. So it's almost same. So we do not have any changes here except the attributes that we have because the attribute might change between requisition and the purchase order. So that's the
Okay.
change that we have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But again, you have to do it here. Okay.
yeah, yeah. And because that is specifically for the requisition document, but this is for the purchase order document. Okay. So for this, already we have the automatic approval growth. So probably we will try to, I will try to clear that issue and
Mhm.
I'll create user because if I want to create rules here, I'll have to create based on the business unit I have created it already.
Yeah.
So if I want to create based on the buyer, so I will have to associate
Or a
here.
user. Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Even in the requisition, correct. There we added affiliate. Uh,
yeah,
we have to change it.
yeah,
Yeah.
correct, correct. So that is the dummy value that we have selected. So I'll
Mhm.
I'll just select that. Okay.
Okay, fine.
And yeah, apart from that, it's about the conditions what we use in the real time. Okay, so
Okay, okay.
when we talk about the real time, we will basically have based on the business unit, we will have based on the item category.
Mm.
Item category meaning if item category is A, which this purchase order needs to be sent to manager A. If it is category B, this needs to be sent to manager B.
Okay.
So this case also I have seen it,
Okay.
and amount ranges and all those things are very common. So which we can set
Oh,
it up. So
okay.
if it is between this amount, this needs to go to manager A. So those
Mm.
are the options. And then based on the type of the product, if it is goods or if it is service. So
Mm.
based on this, if we want to set it up so
Oh,
that
yes.
we can set
Okay.
it up.
So all these will be set in this conditions, not
Yeah,
conditions.
correct, correct.
And I don't know. I see here as or in the last screen it was and. How did it? Where do you change that? And you see like in the conditions below. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
it. Uh,
yeah. So that we can set it up here. So if you
oh,
just
that's
add
that.
this tool, so here I can say whether this is
Oh,
under.
okay. Under fine.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, I understand. Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, this is clear.
yeah. So approval base is this. So
Mhm.
probably we'll complete that part also, and we can see that one. So tomorrow also we will cover this one, the uh,
Setup.
yeah, this one, the transaction account
Mhm.
definition. So
Okay.
I'll just give a high level understanding, and then probably we'll continue tomorrow. Okay.
Okay. Fine.
So what is transaction account definition? So in short, they call it as TAG, the transaction account definition.
Mhm.
So this will help us in order to generate the PO charge account. So charge account is nothing but our expense account.
Mhm.
So this account is basically moved or sent to invoicing for payable invoicing and the other things. So purchasing or the procurement is the base for generating this accounts. So this we will have to do it. So finance will not do. So other accounting
Yeah.
configurations they will do it. So only this we will have to do it. So this is similar to EBS. So we have this workflow, but here they have a separate screen where we can configure it. So similar to the approval. So not exactly, but in terms of looking at the conditions. So similarly, we have the condition options. So if this condition is matched, then what is the account that I want to generate? So that is the options that we have. Okay.
This accounting setups will be done by supply
Yeah.
chain consultant.
Yes. 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 Procurement consultant will do this. Okay. So this is simple only. So we have
Okay.
the mapping set, and then we have the accounting rules, and then we'll associate with the ledger. So
But
it's a
how do
simple.
we know this information with the accounts and all? Uh,
So this we will get it from business. So if this is the item category, so item category I'm taking this as a base. So if this is the item category, so then what is the account code combination that I wanted to generate in the system? So these details we will get it from business.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Then fine. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So probably we can look at this tomorrow. I mean,
Okay.
this configuration. If we want to see, I don't have issue, but I don't want to continue without completing the approach. So that
Okay,
is
okay, no
my
problem.
point.
You take your
Yeah.
time and sort out that demo issue, and
Yeah.
if you want anything, ping me in WhatsApp. But all the
Okay.
setups we have created only with Kia, like Kia underscore expense, like three accounts.
Okay.
No, no,
Okay.
some accounts we created. So I think it
Okay.
should be Kia, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
Like, it has been now 1 month gap, so I
Okay.
don't know. Remember, okay? So just check if
Okay.
you want anything, ping me.
Sure. Sure. Okay.
Okay, okay. Thanks, thanks.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.